Hi everyone, I'm Marius. I'm the co-founder at iWander. Hopefully you can all hear me. Thanks a lot for the opportunity to speak today, and to Dan and to the whole team for putting on such a great agenda today. So when we last gathered for this conference over a year ago, AI, or especially like AI and travel, was still very much in its infancy. We were all talking about concepts, myself included, the big what ifs around travel. So, questions such as what if AI could truly change the way that people travel? What if AI could create deeper connections between travelers and the travel brands that serve them? And today, I'm thrilled to show you all how these ideas have moved from concept into production, and to showcase how iWonder's technology is already improving the travel experience for thousands of City Sightseeing customers every month. So today I'm going to present how our AI works in action with City Sightseeing, the world leader in hop-on, hop-off sightseeing experiences. So when we first sat down with City Sightseeing, we asked two simple questions. The first, what does the perfect AI travel companion look like for your customers? And the second, what outcome should it deliver to you, so City Sightseeing, as a brand and as a company? So together we came up with four key objectives. The first, engagement. So how can we keep continuing engaging with customers once they hop off the bus? Because the sightseeing experience doesn't just stop the moment a customer gets off the bus. So how can City Sightseeing continue providing value and a great experience beyond that bus ride in itself? The second, customer service. So answering these everyday questions that matter most, where's the closest bus stop? When's my next bus coming? What time does the first bus come? So it's all about making the traveler's life easier instantly. Third, commerce. So how can we help travelers discover and book the most relevant products and attraction tickets and experiences right when they're looking for them? So something which is personalized and doesn't feel like you're just kind of ramming products down someone's throat. And finally, data. So for City Sightseeing, understanding what customers actually do in destination, where they go, what they love, what they're visiting, what questions they're asking, it's a gold mine of insight. So these were basically the goals: engage better, serve smarter, sell more meaningfully, and understand customers deeper. And so over the past 18 months, we've been building that vision together. And today, I'm excited to show you exactly what it looks like in action. So what are we going to see today? Well, to start off with, City Sightseeing didn't have their own app. So we started there. We built a fully customized white label app, everything from bus routes, live arrival times, service updates, onboard commentary, all there. Then we integrated our two flagship products into it. So the iWander Chat SDK and the iWander Walks SDK. So together, these two pieces of tech create a seamless AI companion, one that both assists customers and inspires travelers. So let's see how this works in action. We're going to start with the iWander Chat SDK. So this is a chat-based companion, which is trained entirely on City Sightseeing's own data, which means it speaks their brand voice, it knows their routes, it understands their services. So let's see it in action. So when you open up the app, you can see that the chat is present at the bottom of the screen, and customers can immediately start interacting with it. So first thing they can do is choose their guide according to their interests, their preferences, and we can customize and tailor these guides to relevant partners. So for instance, we've got 4 for City Sightseeing. Then the customer can ask all sorts of questions. So starting from, basic service updates. So I'm in London, where's my closest bus stop? And when is the next bus? And what you'll see is that we basically take into account lots of different factors, user preferences, where user location, user data, and also live City Sightseeing bus routes and content to say, okay, stop 4 is 1.3 kilometers away. The next bus arrives in 1 minute, and the one after that in 11 minutes. So if you look at the interface, for instance, you can see bus 4, and you can see that the next two buses are coming in 1 minute and 11. But we don't just stop there, because what we've actually seen is that over half of the requests aren't just about service information. It's all about inspiration, questions about your destination. And we can serve that really well. So questions like, what should I do in London? What can I visit whilst I'm in London? What we'll do is that we'll take into account, customer data, customer profile, customer interest, and also City Sightseeing data. What products do they have available? What sort of content do they want to serve up to their customers? And we'll present that in a really like engaging way. So in this way, basically, customer asks that, we go fetch like the 7 most relevant products within the City Sightseeing portfolio. And then if a customer wants to find out a bit more about it or find a ticket, we can actually serve that to the end customer directly within the chat. So you'll see if the customer wants to learn more about Tower London, we can actually serve those 2 tickets. So this is where the kind of the product piece comes in, which is very interesting because already, I'll go into this in a bit more information later, but we get really interesting data on what customers are organically searching for. So what sort of products they're actually looking for, what sort of like places they actually want to visit. One of them, Borough Market. So this is really interesting in terms of sourcing products. And in this way, you'll see actually like a customer asks about Borough Market. We can actually serve a product on Borough Market. But I'll come into this in a bit more detail a little bit later when I speak about the second part of our AI companion, which is the iWander Walks SDK. So once we nailed that initial companion experience, the one I just showed you, the customer service, the inspiration, the upsell piece, we asked ourselves, how can we elevate this experience even further? And I think the answer goes back to, the very first vision which we had when we set out to build iWander, giving travelers the power to create their own experiences and adventures. And this is what the iWander Walks SDK does. So it lets users build their own personalized walking tours. So let's see how it works in action. So you can see within the City Sightseeing app, we've got a little tab called Walks. And this is our Walks SDK. So it's plug and play, puts into the City Sightseeing app. The starting point to build your own walking tour is, once again, you choose your guide. And then you can select where you want your tour to be. So you can start at a certain location, or you can explore a certain area. So in this case, I'm near City of London. I'll choose City of London. Let's do a tour radius of like 2 kilometers, and then go. Then I can input my tour preferences. So let's say, I'm interested in history, Roman history, for instance, for this part of town. I can put that in and then choose, the type of tour I want, whether it's a quick tour, standard tour, full experience, an hour long, an hour and 50, whatever. We'll choose 1 hour. And then what we're going to do here is that we're going to create six tour titles or tour themes. So this is based off partly the preferences. So, I asked about Roman history, so we'll do a couple for Roman history. But if we find some really interesting stories or themes, which could be good for the walk you've chosen or the area we've chosen, we're going to put them there as well and just give the customer access and like the choice between these 6 tours. So once I've selected my tour title, which is Roman history in Roman London, I can go ahead and buy this. In this case, the City Sightseeing customer will pay for the tour, but we've got plenty of different models, and then start creating it. So this is where the magic happens. So over the course of 2 to 5 minutes, we'll create a really rich audio tour, typically between 10 and 15 stops, which dives into that kind of tour theme, tour narrative. So once it's created, what you'll see is that this is the output. So we've created a tour, 11 stops, 55 minutes over 2.8 kilometers. And you can see it hits all the main points of interest. So London Wall, the Roman Baths, Roman Amphitheatre. And you can see that you can actually launch this directly within the City Sightseeing app. So it's an SDK. No need to go to a third-party app. You can just launch it from within the customer app.
Beneath the glass and steel of modern London, a far older city still lingers. One whose streets and stones once echoed with the footsteps of Roman legionaries, merchants, and citizens. We stand at the threshold of an extraordinary journey, tracing the subtle contours where Roman Londinium's foundations shape the cityscape we know today. Standing at the...
So you can see that was the intro track. It will speak a bit about like what you can expect. And then we've got 11 stops on this tour, each of which dive into more detail on that point of interest. But as you're walking, you can actually still keep engaging with that chat SDK. So if you go in front of a cool statue, like Boudica statue, for instance, you can take a little photo and then your AI tour guide will tell you more about it. Or the same way you might be walking and you hear a couple of cool facts about the Roman baths, the same way you'd ask a tour guide if you were visiting with a tour guide, like, why did the Romans love baths so much? you can ask your guide that, and then it will also answer in the kind of the tone of voice of your guide, of your chosen guide. So yeah, that's the AI part, that's the AI tours. But within our Walks SDK, we also have a selection of almost 60 curated audio tours. So these are audio tours created by top expert historians, covering about 25 of the top destinations in the world, which actually complement those AI tours. So for instance, I spoke about Borough Market, through the AI chat, we figured out, customers are going to Borough Market. We can then go and create an AI tour, we can create a curated tour, especially for Borough Market, to offer that to your customers. So the best part about all this is that since we launched, we actually see it's working. I think there's a lot of builders in the audience. You will know that you can sometimes spend months and months building something, and then you launch it and it's like, oh, it's not quite working the same it is. But in this case, the first numbers are really promising. So we launched a limited number of City Sightseeing testers in September. And in the first 2 months, we've already served over 10,000 customers. What we've seen is that 20% of customers engage directly with the AI. So that's 1 in 5 travelers actively chatting with their virtual companion. They ask an average of 3.4 questions each, and they spend about 14 minutes engaging with the app. So for me, this is probably the data point which is the most promising, because to put that in perspective, most travel apps struggle to even be opened in destination. But here, travelers are spending meaningful amount of time actually engaging and interacting with the app once they arrive in destination, sometimes over multiple hours, over multiple days. So also another big point here is that with engagement comes insight. And this is why we built insight dashboards. So through our insight dashboards, City Sightseeing and other partners now have visibility into travel behavior like never before. So they can see top customer concerns, what are people asking about in destination? They can identify the most visited stops and areas and attractions and locations. And they can even segment their users by interest, food lovers, culture lovers, families, adventure seekers. So for the first time, City Sightseeing can understand not just where their customers are going, but like who they are and why they're going there. So it's super powerful, and we've actually seen it already start to shape marketing, route design, and product sourcing strategy. So ultimately, to kind of conclude, what we're building is an in-destination engagement engine. So it's a product which sits within your app. As you saw, this is an SDK. So we plug this within apps so that your customers can actually enjoy this whole experience without having to go to a different platform or different app. It's trained on your data. It powers personalized upsells. So whether that's your own products, your own portfolio of products, or third-party products. It drives meaningful in-destination engagement. So it keeps users sticky. It keeps your users sticky on your app when they're in destination. And it provides insights and in-destination data that were never previously accessible. So basically the result, increased lifetime value, increased engagement, and increased brand loyalty. So it's a full loop, engaging customers at every step of the journey. And it's all built to be scalable so that any travel brand in any city can tap into our engine, integrate our SDK, and start engaging their customers. So just to wrap it up, just want to say a huge thank you to the entire Travel Trends team for putting on such a great event. Thank you as well to City Sightseeing for their trust and their partnership. And to anyone here today, if you're looking to transform your travel app into a true companion, so one that really helps customers and guests explore, learn more, buy more in their own destination, all within your branded environment, please do reach out and I'd love to discuss further. I've got 30 seconds for any questions. I don't know if there's any here. Yep. Jet2 Holiday Voice for London Guide, we'd have to ask them for the rights. Mexico City, we could do. What is the commentary created from? Honestly, this is what we've been working on for the last 18 months. So we've built a travel AI, which takes content from all sorts of different sources, depending on location, depending on question, depending on theme. We tap into so many different sources. We've built our own model, like a recommendation algorithm. And then the LLM is basically just the script writer at the end of that. And also, we can actually tailor that to partners as well. So we can build custom AI models with guardrails, tone of voices, do say this, don't say that, focus on this, focus on that, with our partners as well. Can we partner with Waymo? I'd love to, but I think Alex probably wants to be there first. iWander within Citymapper. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what the vision is. It could integrate any type of app, not just travel apps. So yeah, whether travel, lifestyle, we can tap into that. Tied in with Meta Ray-Ban, yeah, once again, I see, the technology's there, that kind of overlap reality. It's a couple iterations away, so that could work as well. Yeah, I knew you'd take that. Teaming up with Big Bus, I'm not sure, I don't know yet. I think that's it. Thank you very much. Bye.